Hurricane by Jason Chin. A storm is raging over the Atlantic Ocean. Its terrible winds whip up waves taller than houses. Torrents of rain pummel the water's surface. Lightning and thunder split the sky. A weather buoy measures 85 miles per hour wind. This is no ordinary storm. This is a hurricane. Hurricanes are large, rotating storms that form over the ocean. Once they get going, they can live for weeks and travel thousands of miles. If they reach land, their howling winds, raging waves, and torrential rains can cause terrible destruction. Hurricanes are the most powerful storms on Earth, and this one is heading toward North America. Luckily, it's being watched. A weather satellite hovering more than 22,000 miles above our planet is taking pictures of the hurricane. It sends a new image of the storm back to Earth every minute. Meteorologists at the National Hurricane Center in Miami, Florida, have been following the storm for days. They use satellite images to observe what the storm is doing and to create forecasts. Their forecasts tell people where the storm is and where it is going and warn everyone who is in harm's way. Monday. The forecast describes the hurricane. It begins as a group of thunderstorms off the coast of Africa and has been growing for 4 days. It is now a Category 1 hurricane with winds blowing 90 miles per hour. It is currently more than 2,000 miles away from Florida and is traveling west. People in coastal towns across the United States and the Caribbean pay attention to hurricane forecasts. On Hatteras Island, North Carolina, news of the storm spreads quickly. People chat about it on the beach. Kids talk about it at school. Fishermen discuss it at the docks. It isn't long before everyone on the island hears about the hurricane. Tuesday. Forecasters predict that the storm will travel north of the Caribbean islands and move toward the United States. At the rate it's moving, it could make landfall next week, but it's too soon to know. The forecast only predicts the storm's path 5 days into the future. The residents of Cape Hatteras aren't worried yet, but they know what hurricanes are capable of. Prepare for the worst and hope for the best, they say. They have emergency supplies on hand and plans for staying safe. Wednesday. At the National Hurricane Center, forecasters work night and day to predict the hurricane's track. To make a good prediction, they need good observations of the storm. Satellite photos tell them a lot, but measurements made inside the storm are more accurate. Luckily, they have help from the hurricane hunters. The hurricane hunters are an elite group of scientists and pilots who fly into hurricanes to find out exactly what they're doing. Their plane is an airborne weather station with advanced technology for observing conditions inside the storms. The navigator monitors the nose radar and plots the safest path through the storm. The pilots and engineer keep the plane steady as it plows through the wind and rain. A team of scientists operates the radar units, deploys the dropsondes, and sends the data they collect back to the National Hurricane Center. The flight director oversees the mission and makes sure that the team collects all the information they need. After spending 5 hours inside the storm, they finally head home. On their way out, they pass the next team on their way in. Multiple hurricane hunter crews will fly in and out of this storm continuously until it's over. It's a dangerous job, but they are proud to do it. Thursday. On today's mission, the hurricane hunters discover that the storm has become much more powerful. Hurricanes get their energy from warm ocean water, and this storm has been moving over very warm water. Its fastest winds have reached 115 miles per hour, making it a major Category 3 hurricane. On Cape Hatteras, residents keep their cars fueled up in case they have to leave quickly. They make sure their generators are working in case the power goes out. And they are always ready to help their neighbors. Friday. Today's forecast is clear. The hurricane will swing north toward the Carolinas and is predicted to arrive in 5 days. Its wind field, the area of the storm with tropical storm force winds or stronger, is close to 300 miles across. Now that they know the storm is heading their way, the residents of Cape Hatteras rush to prepare. They clean up their yards and tie down anything that can't be brought inside. The powerful wind could turn any loose objects into dangerous flying missiles. They board up windows to protect glass from flying objects, put small boats out of the water to keep them safe, and they check in with their neighbors. The grocery store is busy with residents stocking up on food and water. They'll need it if they are stranded on the island. Saturday. The storm is now 4 days away, and it's pushing a bulge of water ahead of it called storm surge. When the surge reaches land, forecasters predict that the sea will rise 6 feet or more, causing dangerous flooding. On the island, large boats are tied down with extra ropes so they don't wash away, and cars are moved to higher ground in case the island floods. Sunday. The hurricane is now 3 days away. The first part of the storm to arrive will be its rain bands. These lines of thunderstorms are hundreds of miles long, and they are predicted to dump enough rain to cover the island in more than 2 feet of water. The hurricane is likely to knock out power, block roads, and cut off the island. People's lives will be at risk, so an evacuation is ordered. Residents check on their neighbors one last time. Then they lock the doors and windows to keep them from blowing in and leave. Monday. The storm has encountered cooler water and is beginning to weaken. Forecasters predict that it will make landfall as a Category 1 storm, but as it weakens, its wind field could grow larger. A hurricane watch is issued for towns up and down the coast. Tuesday. This is the last chance to evacuate before it becomes too dangerous to travel. The hurricane's wind field is now more than 300 miles across. Strong gusts of wind have reached the island, and waves are crashing against the dunes. A hurricane warning is issued for the island. The hurricane will arrive tomorrow. Wednesday. As the hurricane's outer bands reach the island, gusts of wind rattle road signs and rain begins to fall in sheets. Soon, the wind is howling, accompanied by a barrage of thunder and lightning. Ocean swells spill over the dunes. Hours pass, and the wind continues to get stronger, becoming a high, screaming whistle. Branches snap, the power goes out. The storm has been over the island for 8 hours. Rain is not falling down anymore, it's blowing sideways. Broken branches slam into houses, shingles pop as they are ripped from rooftops. The island is in the eye wall. Then, suddenly, it's calm. There's barely a breeze, and the air is hot and humid. The island is in the eye of the storm, but this moment of calm is deceiving. The storm is only half over, and just as quickly as it left, the storm comes back. On this side of the eye, the wind blows in the opposite direction, and the water comes rushing in from the west. There are no dunes to protect this side of the island, and the water rises fast. Boats strain on their ropes as waves crash into the docks. Finally, in the early hours of the morning, the rain slows to a drizzle, and the wind is merely gusty. The worst is over. Thursday. On Cape Hatteras, the sun is shining and the sky is clear. The hurricane has moved on, but the damage has been done. The highway is covered in sand and water, and no one can return until it's been cleared. Crews from the highway department and electric company are already hard at work. Friday. When the residents can finally return home, they find the island in tatters. Many streets are still flooded and the power is still out. Buildings have been damaged, debris is everywhere, and the docks are wrecked. But it could have been worse. Boarded up windows weren't broken. Cars on high ground didn't flood. The residents have food and water and generators for power. Most important of all, everyone survived. Now the residents will begin the long task of cleaning up. And they will get through it together.